want to introduce you to Susan Rooks, and she is down on the Cape in the glorious sunshine, no doubt. She's a communications guru. She helps business professionals really hone in on their communication skills. And one of her most sought after workshops is called Brush Up on Your Skills. That helps folks with grammar, business writing, and interpersonal skills. And she also edits and works on best-selling business books, corporate annual reports, and makes sure everything is up to snuff. So last year, Susan saw a need for, and she created a LinkedIn Basics program for all of us that need it. And just letting us all know, how to get the most out of it, because I think we're all a little bit intimidated. You never know what to post and what you should share and, all that good stuff. So thank you, Susan, for joining us. We appreciate it. And we're looking forward to learning a few things today.
And thank you for that, Laura. Yeah, I'm going to get started with just a little history of me, because I don't want to come across in any way as being an expert, but I joined LinkedIn back in 05. That's what LinkedIn tells me, October of 05. I did nothing for about 8 years, nothing. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to ask. It just was one of those, put your stuff out there, you have to be on it. Okay, so I was on it, yippee. And I really didn't get anything out of it because guess what? If you don't work it, you don't get much. So in 2014, a guy named John White, who's become a really good friend and a client and a mentor, found me somehow. I still don't know how, he can't remember, pulled me into a little group and said, here's the things you need to know to get started. Bless his heart. And he was right. And we'll go through some of those as I go through the program. But honestly, if somebody doesn't help us learn how to use it, and today it's even more important, because today this is where a lot of people find clients, they find new jobs, they find wonderful connections that might help them today or might help them in 3 years. They also find a lot of funny stuff, interesting stuff, and an occasional troll. Once in a while, there's somebody pretty ugly out there, but that's pretty typical. My goal with this program was not to dive deeply into it. I'm giving you the basics to get the first part, get your profile up and running. And in the second half, which is just an hour each, what do you do about it once you're there? Because this is where a lot of people really fail. They don't put a good profile up, and then they say, where do I go from here? What do I say? What do I do? And I see some people not recognizing the harm they do to their own brand. A side note, does anybody follow golf by any chance? No, you don't follow golf. Anyway, one of the players recently, a very well-known player, and they're playing professional golf with no spectators, like everything right now, had the cameraman behind him. He hit a very bad shot, very bad shot. Everyone hits bad shots. Cameraman stayed on him, did this. This guy went on social media and said, he's ruining my brand. And I wanted so badly to write to him and say, no, he isn't. You just did. Because what we put out on social media counts, no matter what it is, whether it's a comment, whether it's an article, it's all about who are we? How do we want to be perceived? So that's why I really wanted to do the LinkedIn thing, just to head off a few things you might not even know who to ask. And once you've gone through this is free. I mean, I'm doing this for nothing. I do it because I love it. But feel free, if you ever get stuck, call me, email me, find me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to give you some extra guidance, because it is a wonderful platform for business professionals of all types, whether you have a job today or whether you're looking for one tomorrow. It doesn't honestly matter. So did everybody get the email that has the workbook in it? That's for you to keep. I'm going to be sharing the screen that Sherry taught me how to do. This is not my strength, guys. My strength is at other things, but not necessarily Zoom. So I'm going to share the screen because I want you to see it as we go through it. But my first question is, if I can see your hands up, how many of you are on LinkedIn right now? How many have a profile? Okay, so everybody has something up there. Good. How's it working for you? Yeah? Yeah?
I don't do it.
95% of my clients from LinkedIn, 95%. Once in a while, I get somebody else. I'm an editor. Oh, by the way, that's what I do for a living. I'm an editor. And I get them from LinkedIn because I'm there. So this is what I would hope for you, that we all have a chance to say, oh, I could do that differently, and I'll bet I could succeed. Okay with me?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do the share again. Where the heck is it? Okay, bottom. See, Sherry? See, Sherry, look what I'm doing, Sherry. All right,
Got it.
where's it on my screen? Here it is. Oh, look, there it is, share. All right, so can everybody see this?
Yep.
Oh, good. I can only see 4 of you. I don't know where everybody else went. Oh, wait.
We're all
Underneath.
here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, got it. I
Scroll
just,
down to see them.
yay me. So this is basically making the most of the LinkedIn experience because it is a very, very good communication place. This is in 2 sections, the program. Each one's an hour. We go through it fairly fast, but that's why I have the chamber send you the workbook so that you can look at it later and say, I remember she talked about that. Yeah, I do. We're going to look at the pieces and parts this morning, the parts of it, the banner, the picture, like your picture of you, your headline and how critical it is and what you can do about it. The about section, which is probably the single most important thing to learn about today. What are you going to say? How are you going to write it? Your dashboard, which is a little hidden place that no one else can see, but it's very informative if you like numbers and you like to find out who's been looking at you. Articles and activity and how to write them if you choose to do content. All of the different sections that are in the profile. The next week, we're going to be looking at working with all of it. And I'm hoping with the week you have, that you might take some of this and update your profile a little bit. I'm going to show you all the way through some other profiles, not just mine. I like mine, but I like others even better many times. So that's the first page. That's the table of contents. This to me is critical. On page 1 where it says at the top, why are you on LinkedIn anyway? I was on LinkedIn for one reason. I was told I had to be there. And somehow I never quite got the idea that I was supposed to do something there. It's not meant to be a trick question, but a lot of people, they say, well, I'm on LinkedIn, it doesn't work. What are you doing there? What do you mean doing? Well, it's like giving a business card and somebody puts it in a pocket and it goes flying off somewhere. What are you doing there? Have you even considered why you want to be there? I don't care why anyone wants to be there, but I think it's important that we know. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach. I hoped I would get clients, but I wanted to teach. I'm an American grammar, more or less expert. I know a lot about American grammar rules, big whoop. But I wanted to teach because so many people forgot what they learned in 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th grade, 10th grade. They weren't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention either. So when we know what we're doing there, why are we there? Do you want to present yourself as an expert in something? Okay. Do you want to put yourself out there hoping to get another job? Okay. Do you want to teach? Do you want to learn? Whatever it is, it would be good if you could figure out why are you there. The second question, who are you? Remember, this golf guy at the moment is beating his own brand to death because he's complaining that a cameraman did the job the cameraman was supposed to do. Watch him make a bad shot. Well, why are you there? What's your expertise? How can you best show that to others? What do you want to be known for? I want to be known as a really nice human. I want to be known as a good teacher. I want to be known as someone you would go to if you had the questions I might be able to answer. So what's your value proposition or your unique selling proposition? These are all business terms, but we're mostly in business. What kinds of connections are you looking for? I will tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, if we have any gentlemen, we all ladies? Okay, wonderful listeners. There are some very strange guys out there. They are not always the most wonderful kinds of connections. Early on, I would accept almost everybody's connection request. I didn't know any better. I didn't get very many, but I also wanted to build up a network. The last year or so, I've gotten much more discerning because I'm getting asked by guys who have one connection and they start out with, hi, honey, you look so good. Click, gone, bye. So I'm much more careful about it. I want to know what kind of a connection we could have, even though I might never get around to it completely. And then the last question, just something to think about. Since all of you say you're already on LinkedIn, this is good. But I would love to know if you ever talk to someone else, maybe you can help them figure out why aren't they? What do they think about LinkedIn that wouldn't work for them? So simply questions, things to think about. And I'm not going to be doing all the talking, by the way. I'm going to do the early talking. But I need to hear from you folks because you're going to have ideas from your perspective. This is not about me. This is just leading you into some stuff. All right. This is me, kids. There it is. I think it still looks like that right now. Yeah, I haven't changed it yet. Because I'm an editor, Look what I have at the top of my LinkedIn page. Book covers that I worked on. Why? Because I don't want to say, look at me, how brilliant I am. But this is the space where you can do that. And a lot of folks have the blue banner that LinkedIn gives you. And they've either never known they could change it, or they haven't considered changing it, or it seems like too much work. But I think most of us know that visuals are very compelling. Yes? Fair? You see something you like in a picture. Okay, anybody here a dog person? I mean, I am such a dog person. Put a picture of a dog out and I got to look at it. You might be a cat person. You might be like little sheep. I don't know. But visuals are compelling. And I don't have to tell you I worked on them. They're there. And yes, the middle one, the guy did win a major award in New York. Not for my brilliance, trust me. It was because it was such a blooming good story. But it was wonderful to work on it. So the banner, that's that blue area at the top. It is changeable. And I would urge you to think, what can you put there that represents who you are and what your brand is? What can you put? You get a specific size. I didn't know about the specific size. I must have made 30 or 40 different versions until I found one that would fit. Then I learned, oh, there's a specific size. I sometimes do work backwards. Can't help it. But you don't want to leave it empty. You really don't. Because this is a great way to say, hey, look at me. Now, if you're selling cosmetics, you might want to have something up there about cosmetics. If you're selling real estate, you might want to have maybe your company logo up there. The picture, the B, I B next to the picture, that is a fixed position, is stuck. A lot of people don't seem to realize that, and they put something really important on the left side of their banner. Guess what? No one sees it, because what they see is your picture. You can't change it. On the app, on the phone app, it's a little bit different, but it's still fixed. You can't change it. Doesn't mean it won't change, but for the moment, that's where it is. So the blue banner, first thing to think about, what can I put there that will say, look at me, look what I can do, look what I represent, look who I am in my business. Does that make some sense?
Yep.
Yeah, up and down, come on. This is free. What I love about LinkedIn is it's free. And there's so much potential for showing other people what we do. It's prime real estate on that top thing. Now the size needs to fit into roughly a 6 by 1.5 inch space. Who knew? I didn't. Or that many pixels. If you want to use Canva, it's a really excellent site for doing it. It'll even give you just the size when you do it. I didn't know that either. And I'm collecting all the Canva tips because I signed up for their little email thing, just because when I decide to change this again, I might want to use one of their ideas. But the banner is truly an important thing that most people don't seem to use. Now I'm only seeing 4 of, oh no, wait a minute. I wish I could see everybody. Okay, I can see Pete, I can see Sherry, I can see Kate, I can see the fact of Alex and Chris. Oh, we have a Chris too. Okay. Has anybody here got their banner up and running?
Yep. No,
Yep.
mine is blue.
Yours is blue, yeah, Laura.
Okay. It's a wonderful advertising space. And it's
Yeah.
the first thing anyone sees. So it is really a good idea to think, what can I do there? And it could take you a whole day. It might take you 5 minutes. I don't know. I'm not all that adept at this stuff. It takes me longer than some, but at least I understood the point of it. The picture really should be of you. I understand some people don't like their own picture. Ladies, I'm 74 years old, okay? I know what I look like in a picture. I am not a glamour girl. I don't look bad for 74, but still, I figure people want to do business with humans, and they don't really want to do business with a logo or a picture of the sea or whatever else. I've got people there, they put their dog's picture up. Unless you're a groomer, even then, maybe you with a dog. But it really doesn't have to be professionally done. And if we have anybody here who's a professional photographer, forgive me on that. We can't all go that way. Somebody took this picture of me at another chamber a year ago. And I thought, oh, damn, okay, that's not bad. I can use that. I'd maybe change it in a year. But if it looks like you and you're smiling and you look approachable, it's a very good picture. So think about that too. Who can you get to take a picture of you? Do you have one you already had and you thought, that's not a bad picture of me. I look pretty good there. All I'm saying is if you can have it be smiling, I think that helps a lot. There are some very stern looking pictures out there, and I'm sure they're trying to look professional. It's usually more men than women, but this. Okay, I guess so. Again, an article. Oh, Andy Vargo. Oh my God, he's wonderful. All through this, by the way, I'm giving you links that when you get the PDF, if you click, you'll be able to go straight to these links. He wrote a really excellent article on what your photo says about you in terms of what people are generally going to look at and think yes or yeah, maybe not. Excellent article. I would recommend it highly. It takes 2 minutes to read, but it's a very nice backup. I'm just looking at time here. This is the first time I've done it this way, so I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to. The headline. Now, here is the trick with the headline. Everybody have a cell phone or a tablet? Something, everyone has a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
On my computer, I can't make my headline as long as you see it. I can't create it there that way. This is the hack. I have no idea why on the app that is on the phone, you can make it 4 or 5 lines long. And I didn't know it until I looked at a bunch of other people's, and I kept saying, I get cut off after 1.5 lines. Damn it, darn it, rats. And so I finally went and I said, okay, tell me, how did you get so much information in your headline? They said, I created it on my phone, which by the way, made no sense to me. None, zero. I'm not a techie. I do some things really well, but that's not one of them. And I knew I wanted to write more. Look, I've got 3.5 lines, but you have to create it on the phone. I don't know why. And then unfortunately, you have to edit it on the phone. But once you put it on your phone app, if you have a computer and you look at your LinkedIn login, it's there. All of the characters you put in the phone. I can't answer the question. I don't know why it's like that, but I'm grateful beyond measure, because I didn't want to just say I'm the grammar goddess. I wanted to give you some things to read to say, oh, I kind of like that, and keep reading. So the headline, please do start with the most important. The first thing I want people to see when they see me, I want them to know who I am. I'm the grammar goddess. I've been that for 25 years. Who are you? What is it you would want them to see immediately to separate you from anybody else on LinkedIn? How do you write that? You only have 120 characters if you do it on the computer. I keep hoping LinkedIn will get wise and change that. So far, they haven't listened to me. But use your cell phone app. You will always get a note on your computer saying you've exceeded the allotted numbers if you try to update it there, which again frustrates the hell out of me, but so be it. As long as I can get what I'm looking for, I'm thrilled with it. And the other thing was use something to break the comments up. If you look at mine up top here, I used a little line just because I wanted to. You could use a star. There are people that have gotten very creative, and you'll see them as we go through the program today and next week. Wonderfully creative ideas. And I like that. I like to stand out in some way, because right now, folks, there are something like 650 million LinkedIn profiles. And I'm probably 10 million under. That was last week's number. Heaven only knows what it is today. So if you want to stand out, anything you do at the top allows people to say, oh, wait, I've got to look at this one. Does that make some sense? You okay?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. And then the third thing, and I'm going to take questions on this whole thing. If you want to edit anything up here, other than your, other than the top things, you can use the pencil to rewrite. If you're not going to use the phone to create a long one right now, using the pencil will be the way you can change it. But if it's already a very long one, it'll tell you, you've got way too many, you can't go here. And unfortunately, I also learned that if I want to change my banner, I get the same notice that my headline, I can't have it, which means I can change the banner, but I know I'm going to have to go back to my phone, which is why I've resisted changing the banner, because it's a pain in the neck to do it this way. Yet, I like what I got. So questions on this, are you okay with it? It's not rocket science exactly, but it is something that I never knew and I've stumbled across over the time.
The banner, can you only change that on the computer, or can you change that on the app?
You can change it on both as far as I know, Sherry. I know I can change it on the computer. My problem is I will then have to change, I'll have to go back to the app, honest to Pete,
Right.
and redo the headline. So I've resisted doing it because it's a double job. But
Right.
I love my headline. So one of these days, I've got another 8 or 9 book covers of recent work that I want to put up here, including one from a guy that's got 1.4 million LinkedIn connections. He's very well known. I'm dying to get it up there, but the amount of work.
And Susan, we can help anybody out with the Canva too, because we have a full account with them.
Wonderful.
If somebody needs help with their banner and they want to send us what they want it to say, we can lay it out for them and send it back to them. So just
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. Yeah, see, that's great information because it will help a great many people decide they'll actually willing to do that.
Right, right.
Wonderful. Okay, I've got to move on, so I'm going to stop talking for a minute. No, I'm going to keep talking. The About section. All right. That's the next one in order on the page. This is where you get a chance to write about yourself. And I know that a lot of people are really uncomfortable about doing it. They don't want to start with the word I. Fine, start with a verb. I don't really care. Honest to Pete, I don't. When I was doing these in person, we would hand them out pre-printed, which is why on the right-hand side it says your page. I have it. I've got this all, or I need it. It's a reminder. My next one, doing it on Zoom, will probably have that gone because you can't be writing on it because it's in front of you here. But you write in first person. This would be the biggest deal. A lot of people say the equivalent of, I'm Susan Rooks, okay? Susan Rooks is an editor. Susan Rooks is a, Susan Rooks does this. Please, people, the word I is good. We're trying to talk to you and read from you. So writing in the third person, using your own name, it's a very odd way of writing for most of us. When I see Arpita, I want to know who she is. And I don't want to see Arpita Shah does this. You are Arpita Shah. I don't want to have you writing it that way. It's very odd. If you don't like to say I too much, fine. Start with a verb. Conducts, organizes, reviews, that kind of thing. If you're really uncomfortable starting with I. Maybe start a question. Okay, at the top of mine, can you see that? The very first question you see on mine, have you ever written pubic when you meant public? Trust me, it's out there everywhere.
Yeah.
I get more people saying, I had to see what the next sentence was. If you've got a way to hook a reader in, you keep them on your profile a little longer, they may find more value that they wouldn't have seen otherwise. Basic bottom line here is don't be boring. Try for something that would get their attention. And I'm more than willing to help you too, because I'll probably look at everybody's profile later. But that one was deliberate. Because a lot of people, honestly, they're worried about spell check. Spell check said it was fine. Well, it is. You wrote it right. You just didn't write the word you meant to write. Tell a story. Show how you work. Don't just list facts. Do this, this, this. On mine, I tried to list why I do what I do, how I do it. You're not going to see everything here, but when you're looking at other people's profiles, say to yourself, would I want to work with this person? Am I learning something that's of value to me? And the fourth point, again, please let your recommendations that we'll talk about, let them tell other people that you're brilliant. Please don't ever do this. I'm the best person ever. I am a world-renowned author. That's bragging. And for most of us, it doesn't sit well. And I'm keeping it clean because I've seen some that are so bizarre. Honest to Pete, they're really bad. But other people could say, she's the best person I've ever worked with. She's the best, whatever it is. She's the best assistant over at the chamber. She's the best chamber person. She's the best, whatever it is you guys do. Fine. Let them sing your praises. And then please do put a white space between your paragraphs. I've seen some that seem to be all one block of 18 lines of just text. These are just bits and pieces that make you stand out in a very positive kind of way. Have any of you got your about sections at least started? Something's there?
I'm looking, where the heck is it?
Good, because that's going to be the very critical thing for most people to see. I wish I could see everybody's face when I'm asking questions. I can see a few, but okay. I don't want to see my own face.
I think once you see it, you're going to say, oh, there's nothing. It's like, I'm learning so much right now. It's like, oh, I don't have this. I don't have this.
I know, Arpita, that's me.
Yeah, this is a quick and dirty. This is why it's just an hour. Okay, the dashboard, this is a private place right underneath about this, and you're the only one who can see it on your profile. No one else can see your dashboard. I love it because I'm always curious. Who's been looking at me? Okay, I have moments of vanity. Who's been looking at me? I'm curious. What's this person like? Maybe I'll then go and look at that person. But you can see it. I check every day, and I want to see if I want to link to that person. You can see if you're open to helping. There's a lot you can do on the dashboard. Those are the numbers from, God, about a month or 6 weeks ago. Probably longer than that. But they're representative of the kind of thing you might see. That many people in the last couple of months have looked at your profile, and then they show you pictures of who they are and their names. So you get a chance to find out who's been looking at you. And maybe if you go to their profile, you might say, ooh, this would be a good connection for me. Even if they didn't ask you, maybe you would choose to ask them, which we'll talk about today or the next week. Articles and activities, the next section you see, and unless LinkedIn messes this up, it's still the next section you see. But it shows you what you've written. Okay, this was 2 months ago, and I had 10,167 followers. As of today, I believe my number is 12,200. So it's not a very big number, but it's bigger than some. I've got a couple of friends who've got 50, 60, 70,000. That's like a whole mob. But this at least shows you how many. It shows you your own last 4 things you might have written. And this is a place where I'd want you to be aware of it, because when somebody wants to link with me and the 4 things I see that they wrote are all about themselves, my first thought is, yeah, I don't think so. I've seen many of them that don't realize the last 4 things they may have written anywhere on LinkedIn show up. And if what they say is, you need to link to me so I can show you what I do. All 4 times? That's all? Never? Hey, Kate, that was a great article you wrote. Let me tell you about whatever. Boy, I can't get out of there fast enough. It's all about them. And it's not the best way to help people want to be with you. I know I sound like your Aunt Mary, your long lost Aunt Mary. But this is where you get it. So you don't even have to write articles. You can comment. You can make wonderful comments that we'll talk about a little bit more next week. But you can comment and say things like, I liked what I saw when you wrote in that second paragraph about bup, 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 bup. You're offering value, you show you read it, and you look like a nice person. And somebody might say, ooh, who's she? I want to go link to her. The articles are still long form. There's no limit on how many words you can do or how many characters. Not everybody wants to. Posts are the shorter ones. There is a 1,300 character limit. Luckily, LinkedIn tells you when you're over 1,200, so you know you got to either shorten up with the top of it or quit, because you can't go over 1,300 characters, including spaces. Why? I don't know. There are moments they just boggle my mind. But a mix of both, if you can write long form, it's good. If you don't want to, thoughtful comments really make you look good. Having someone proof your work, well, since I'm an editor, I had to throw this one in there. Too many bad writing examples aren't going to be all that professional. I'm not going to get crazy about it, only when it's somebody else who's an editor. Anybody got comments on this part of it or anything so far? Have you written articles? Have you put posts up? Have you done any of this?
I usually just share stuff, you know?
Sharing is a brilliant tactic.
If I see something that I like, I'd like to share it. Or we put our own information up of anything we have going on, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. If you share someone else's with a little quick, hey, I thought you would really like to see what so-and-so, tag that person. We'll talk about tagging. And you look so good because you're letting someone else get the glory. But honestly, you look good by doing it. It's a nice thing to do. I share a lot of information. I can't write what these people write. I don't even know the topics sometimes. But if it's really interesting, I figure, why not? Other people are bound to read it and go, wow, that was good. That was a great one to see. And if I look good for doing it, wonderful. But my goal is to get the information out there. And I can only write about what I know. I can't write about what you know. You're smarter in your world than I'll ever be. So I love being able to share other people's good stuff. And if you comment or share, you're going to see what you did in that area up there. So just be aware of it. Experience, you can put as much or as little as you want, but normally this is your business experience. Where have you worked? Where are you working? Normally, the most recent goes top and drop it down. I don't think you have to have stuff from in 1984, 1986, 2002, unless it's relevant, but a few places just to write about who are you? Well, I'm the grammar goddess. Okay, there we go. And I've written it in there. And then the next one is I'm the editor-in-chief of the Social Marketing Solutions. 2 or 3 things that show I have value to others. This is what I would want each of you to do. Where have you worked? And again, if you don't want to use the word I, start sentences with verbs. I'm no problem with that. At least it gives people an idea of why should they want to be with you? Why should they want to hire you? Why should they want to work with you? Whatever it might be. Focus on the results. And this, by the way, this is not meant to be a resume. Chatty Cathy works really well here. Be real. Talk about what you've done. Talk about accomplishments, whatever it might be. And if you've worked at more than one job in the same firm, you can show it by clicking on a key and it just drops it down. Because Biz Catalyst, I think now I have 5 things I do there, whatever. But the experience area, it's a good one, especially if you're looking to gain clients or maybe another job. And I'm watching the clock at the same time here. Education, I have a good time with this one. I flunked out of 2 colleges in 3 terms. I was 18, dumb as a fence post. I went to UMass Boston. I went to UMass Amherst, and it was a party school back in 1964. And I learned how to drink, party, and play pool. And I flunked out. And I admit it, I was 18, as dumb as a fence. 18 is not the smartest year we ever have. So I put that in there because it's kind of fun. And I don't take it seriously. I finally graduated from Stonehill in Easton after going 14 years nights and paying for it. And boy, does that motivate you to do better. So education can be whatever you want it to be. You can leave it blank. It's not required. I just had a funny little story to tell people about the reality. I was not a smart 18-year-old or a 19-year-old or a 20-year-old. Volunteer, this one I like. Because you know what? People have said, I liked your profile, and what I really liked was you do volunteer work. Who knew? So, but I do. I love being on boards. I love working with Habitat for Humanity. That's my absolute special one. I love it. I'm now on the board of the Mattapoisett area Habitat for Humanity. You have to get the whole damn thing out there. I love Habitat. I've been on it for years. Whatever it is you do, if you have something you can put in there, because sometimes people link with us for reasons that aren't business. They like what they see. They like something different. So whatever you can put in there, it can be a good thing to show. Oh, and I have that hyphen. Why do I have that little IN hyphen? That's not a good choice. Skills and endorsements. Skills, they give you a list. If you want to click on a few things and say, yeah, I do this, I do this, I do this. Wonderful. But endorsements are really, really excellent. They're recommendations. They're other people saying she is wonderful. And you know what? I like that a lot. This is what you get with recommendations and endorsements. I would suggest that if somebody does you, that you at least find some way, if you like them enough, and can find something to offer to do it for them, because then you're seen as giving, as Leslie and Dennis Pitoko is. It's a nice way to have other people sing your praises. And since it doesn't look good when we say I'm the best thing going, we end up having people help us look good. Has anybody gotten recommendations on LinkedIn?
No.
Have you gotten that far yet?
I have.
Okay. How did it make you feel?
It was nice to see coworkers enjoy working with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't write it.
Oh, she definitely didn't write it.
But it's nice when you get them.
Is
All right.
that, sorry, Susan, is that something people do themselves, or would you ask someone to give you a recommendation?
I'm sorry, wait a minute, you broke up a little bit, and you know I'm deaf as a post.
Okay, so in regards to the recommendations, is that something that you would ask someone to give you a recommendation, or do they do it naturally? You know, they do it themselves?
Both.
Thank you.
Both. I've asked a couple of people that I've worked with if they would, and I've offered at the same time to write one for them, to exchange them. More often than not, they come out of the blue.
Yeah.
Somebody says, hey, by the way, I loved working with you and I just wanted to send you the recommendation I'm writing. The good thing about them is you get to see it before it gets posted. You have to actually approve it.
Okay.
So, and since I'm the grammar goddess, darn it, and since I am rabid dog about good English and good writing, if somebody's not writing it as well as I hope for, I can at least make a couple of changes and send it back and say, hey, I made 1 or 2 little changes. Are you good with this? And they will then say, hopefully, yes. And it goes on. But they look good for having bothered to do it. It helps me look good if it makes some sense. And then normally I like writing recommendations for other people because I like being able to say, hey, this person shines. I want people to be in the spotlight. So it's a really good way. So as you become closer with some people, you might say, hey, I'd love to write a recommendation for you. Would that be okay? And guess what they almost always say?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, sure.
Yeah.
And then the next sentence very often, Laura, is, would you like me to write one for you? And the answer is, oh, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's an underused area. I go all the way through it because I'm always curious to see what are these people's strengths if I'm going to ever work with them. As an editor, I don't do beyond a certain point on a manuscript. I don't know about publishing. I don't know about printing it. I don't know about how you get it on a Kindle. That is not my area of expertise. But if I can see that somebody who says, I'm really good at this, and I get to the recommendations, and 5 or 6 other people say, oh my God, she walked me through it. I didn't know how to handle it. I'm thinking, well, that's somebody I want to make sure I keep in touch with because I like having a circle of excellence around me. Does that make some sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
I can only know what I know. I learn all the time because I want to know more about how I can help. Not that I'm going to do the help, but I want to know that I can say, okay, you need to talk to Laura because she can do this for you. Or you need to talk to Arpita. Or you need to talk to whoever else is on this, Sherry, because they can help you with that question. I can't, but they can. And so, yeah, I will read the recommendations to see, because some people think they're maybe better than they are. And 8 or 10 people say they're great. Super. I have a friend, Sandra Scott, who knows more about publishing than I will ever know in my life. She knows more about indie publishing, independent. She doesn't like to call it self-publishing, indie. But she knows where to go, how to do it, what it needs. And I just pass people on to her and say, Sandra, here's another one, because I don't know where to go from there. And I'm sure you've all experienced that in your lives where you've had to call on other people. How many of us are plumbers? You call a plumber and say, it's dripping, make it happen. And then you tell 2 friends that this is a really great plumber. That's to me what this is all about, is making sure that we have the right connections that we can help others when they need the help, because I can't do some of that stuff. Accomplishments. Anything you want to put there? Above it. You can do it. It's fine. And interests, honestly, I don't give a rat's rump about those. I really don't. I have some on here. I think I put them on because I was told they're supposed to put interests. Okay, I'll click a couple of interests. What I'm seeing lately are a lot of profiles that they go for this and a couple of others in the middle, but they don't really fill out enough to be seen as professional or enough to be somebody I really want to link to. Back up. Let me just go back up here for a second. The articles and activity. Sorry, I had a stray thought. Questions, anything I haven't covered. We've actually moved faster than I thought we would, but I wasn't sure, given this format, how it would be.
Yeah.
Questions, comments, thoughts?
So if somebody fills in their information, can they send you a link to their LinkedIn so you can check it over? And if you have any suggestions on any changes, you could
Absolutely.
let them know. Yeah.
Absolutely. More than happy to. More than happy to. I'm going to look at everybody. I'm hoping I'll get a list of well, I've written them down, but doesn't mean I'm going to help the right people. Because I love to see what I'm looking at. In the next week's one, you're going to be looking at about 8 different profiles with me. And if you can look at you can look at them because we sent you both pieces. Because what I wanted you to see was all the diversity out there, all the different ways that you can shine, not just this kind of thing, but oh my gosh, the cleverness, just the creativity of ways to do it. I'm only one person, and I can only give you what I've learned over time. And I didn't learn it from only one person. I learned it from hundreds. And that's what I would wish for you. I can guide you, sure. I can help you. But you got to make your decisions based on other ones. It might take 10 minutes a day, maybe, and just go looking. Click and look. Doesn't matter. Click and look and see, ooh, that was interesting. But yes, Laura, absolutely. Once you've attended one of these programs, I'm yours for life. I will absolutely walk you through it.
You know, like sometimes it's hard. You don't even realize what you know yourself, if you know what I mean. You know, if someone said, all right, I'm going to put a gun to your head, tell me 5 things that you're really good at, I'd be, But if I asked somebody else, tell me something good about me that I do well, they could fire a few things off. You know what I mean? So
That is a wonderful thought.
Is it a good idea to maybe look up somebody else that's in the same kind of job setting as you and see what they have, and you kind of get a few ideas that way? So, or if, like, say if you're an accountant, to look up other accountants, see what their page looks like and say, oh, I do that too. That's a good idea. I'll add that to mine, you know?
Yep. Also, for what it's worth, I don't consider anyone who's in my field a competitor at all. I know what I know. I know I'm very good at this and I'm not so good at those. I don't work on fiction much. I can copy edit. I can do the grammar part, but I'm not going to do the plots and the twists and the ins and the, I just don't like doing it. I just don't. I do nonfiction, but I've got several friends who glory in all the genres of fiction. Oh my word, they just eat that stuff up for breakfast. Great, we're not competitors. But even if they were doing what I do, somebody might like me because I'm who I am, or what I am, or why I am. Who knows? I don't know. I love learning from my own people too. So I willingly take connection requests from everybody that looks reasonable in my field. Why not? They probably know 18 million things I've never even thought of. They help me look smart. So yeah, but I think to ask someone else beyond even looking at your competitors, quote competitors, what would you say about me if somebody asked you? I've asked that of a couple of people and they gave me some interesting answers I hadn't thought of.
Right.
But building it, it can be hard, Laura, honestly, to say, well, I'm really good at this. It's almost embarrassing to say that. Except, but if you are, you are.
Yeah.
Right. Susan, do you do anything with LinkedIn groups?
LinkedIn groups, unfortunately, aren't nearly as good, apparently, as Facebook groups. LinkedIn groups are wonderful. I'm in one, but it's not a editor's group. I'm in a couple of those, but I don't get that much out of it. I'm in a group of about 20 people, that one that John brought me into 7 or 8 years ago. But we all do different things, but we've gotten to be very friendly and very good at what we're doing. We support each other. I've never gotten that much out of LinkedIn groups. It doesn't mean you couldn't explore and see if you fit into one and if you have the time to contribute occasionally. Most of the comments on LinkedIn groups seem to be not as good as they used to be, but I was never in one except for this one. So I don't have a frame of reference for it. But I think it's a value to go and look at your competitors, because Laura, that's a brilliant idea. Go look and see what they put out there. Check it out. See what your visceral idea is. You read it and go, Or you read it and go, oh, wait, yeah, that's good.
Because you just take everything you do for granted, you know? Your daily life that you do, you don't even think, oh, I did this and I did that. You just go about your business and you do it, and you don't realize that maybe it's a skill you have, you know?
Yeah. Or think about what somebody called you recently. I have a client in Florida. He's a tree guy, of all things. He's a legal expert in trees. When they fall, he can tell you why they fell because he knows what's wrong with them. He knows all the law and all the trees of all things. And to help him, the gal that does his website and I had to say to him, Joe, when somebody calls, what do they say they need? What do you mean? I said, all right, I'm calling you. And I'm saying, hey, Joe, I'm calling you because, it helped him identify a few things we could put on his LinkedIn profile and his website that made sense from a consumer's point of view, from the attorneys who call him, from the insurance people who call him. Why do they call you, Joe? What do they say? I never thought of it that way. I said, well, they're giving you the answers to what you do well. They're giving you the answers to things. They have problems that you're solving. And so my thought would be, if somebody's calling you, why? What might they say? So-and-so recommended you? Terrific. Why? What did he say? How can I help? All of that leads it in, but you can also put that in your about section. You can put that on LinkedIn to some degree and just say, these are the pain points. That's what I did on mine. You're not seeing it yet, but if you go look, you'll see it. It's a model you could copy, or you can ignore it and you can go and find something else that's even better. All I know is LinkedIn does work really well, but I also spend probably 3 or 4 hours a day on LinkedIn. Most of you aren't going to do that, and that's fine. Yeah. For me, I work alone. I live alone with 2 small dogs who are luckily in their crate, not barking at us. I have extra time. I'm older. I don't have a lot of responsibilities that many others have. But
so do you recommend that you post at least something once a day?
I do. I think you should do something, even if it's at 6 o'clock in the morning or at midnight. I think it's a habit you get into. You also learn a lot, but I would say if you put the profile up, that's a good start. The point of next week is, okay, you built it. You think they're going to show up? You know, the old, if you build it, they will come. Yeah. Bullpucky. No, not automatically. Not with 650 million. How do you get out there? How do you help people want to know you as opposed to anybody else? And that's the whole point. This is the beginning. If you haven't got this, there's no point in worrying about how you make it work because you didn't get anything to show.
Right.
So my thought would be in the next week, find 30 minutes here or there. Make a decision. If everybody already put a hand up, I'm on LinkedIn. Okay. I may go and spend 5 minutes and check each one of you out and drop you a note and say, hey, a couple of things I saw you might want to try.
Okay.
Because I can do that. It's a very good platform.
Is it okay with everybody if I send your email address over to Susan?
Please do.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then that way, you know, if she has time, then maybe she can check in on your LinkedIn page, see how you're doing, or if there's something that she thinks you should add.
She's got time. She said that.
Yeah, and then if you look in the group chat here, Olympia's website, her website is amazing, and she's got all kinds of tips and tricks and all, fun stuff for you to look over. But if you just copy and paste that link there, it tells you all the social media image sizes for everything. So it'd be like Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything.
Awesome.
That's a great one to do. And Canva's fabulous. And again, if you need to take advantage of us in our Canva account, we're here for you. You send us over whatever you want, and for me, myself and Sherry will help you out with that. Right, Sherry?
Absolutely.
There you go.
Here we go, Sherry. I know you're there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun platform. I mean, we'll talk next week about the realities of some of the people who aren't all that nice, but mostly it's a great place to be. You meet incredible people worldwide. Again, my age, I'm an old broad. I remember black and white TVs, for God's sakes. I remember 3-party phone lines. I remember long distance phone calls you didn't make because they cost money. Now I can get on a LinkedIn thing, or I can get on a Zoom thing, and I can talk to somebody in India. I mean, really? Russia. Well, I'm not totally sure about Russia. Maybe, hopefully. I can talk and see people around the world. That is remarkable. And I also work with several international authors. Who knew? Yeah. So this for me is the open door. This is the sesame. This is the, my gosh, this is my invitation to the world.
Yeah.
I'll shut up now. Laura, thank you.
Thank you so much. So we all have homework this week then.
Yeah, I hope you'll at least go and check yours out and pick even one thing to do. Yeah. Even one that could make it even better than it is today, because it is an excellent platform.
Yeah, I'm going to do that this week, try and come up with something. I definitely have to put a picture up there. I just have that blue background, the LinkedIn one. So yeah, I never spent enough time on it, you know. Sniff around.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Laura.
So thank you, Susan. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
And next week will be fun. So hopefully we'll have some updates on our LinkedIn pages.
Yep.
And then we can move on from there.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks for letting me in.